God and stuff. So today we'll discuss the science of the soul from Bhagavad Gita 2.23. Nayanam chindanti shastrani.
Nainam Chindan Shani
Nayanam dahati pavakaha.
Nainam Dahati Pavakaha
Na chainam kledayanti apo.
Nachainam Kidayan Yapo
Na soshayati marutaha.
Nasoshiyati Marutaha.
So you want to read the Sai and we'll repeat.
Oh, okay. So Nainam Chindanti Shastrani
Nayanam chindanti shastrani.
Nainam Dahati Pavakaha
Nayanam dahati pavakaha.
Nachainam Kledayanti Apo
Na chainam kledayanti apo.
Nasoshyati Marutaha.
Na soshayati marutaha. Very good. So Sai is becoming a Sanskrit scholar right now. Okay, so Sai, can you read the translation and the purport?
Yes. So the translation is the soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. The purpose. All kinds of weapons, swords, flame weapons, rain weapons, tornado weapons, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears that there are many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc., in addition to the modern weapons of fire. Even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons. But formerly, there are other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Fire weapons were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to modern science. Nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces, nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices. The Mayavadi cannot explain how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance and consequently became covered by the illusory energy. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls from the original Supreme Soul. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the Supreme Soul. Because they are atomic individual souls eternally, Sanatana, they are prone to be covered by the illusory energy. And thus they became separated from the association of the Supreme Lord, just as the sparks of fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. In the Varaha Purana, the living entities are described as separated parts and parcels of the Supreme. They are eternally so, according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So, even after being liberated from illusion, living entity remains a separate identity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna.
Very good, very good. So what is your understanding?
So the spirit soul, can never be cut into pieces by all the elements. So fire, earth, air, wind, anything like that, they cannot break or annihilate the supreme soul or any individual soul. So it's saying that it cannot also destroy the supreme soul that was created. And even though what was it, Arjuna, he could never become one with Krishna because Krishna was alone, not being able to cut into pieces with the elements created by earth, wind, and fire, and so on. So he could never become one with Arjuna, or Arjuna cannot become one with Krishna.
Very good, very good. And what is that Mayavadi theory or the illusion that you just read?
So the illusory of energy. So the Mayavadi is basically something that let me see. Uh,
Yeah, Mayavadi is where they say everybody is one. So I am same with Sai Ishan, and Sai Ishan is same with Ganeth. Doesn't make sense, but they use some strange logic to say that
okay.
everybody is one. So whenever
Mhm.
somebody says everybody is one, we all merge into one, that is called Mayavadi theory. So Srila Prabhupada says that that theory is not correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you think you and I are one?
Basically, yeah. Not physically, but spiritually, yeah.
No, spiritually we are separate. You are a different soul, I am a different soul. That is the purport of this message, right? Soul cannot be cut into two. So if you are basically one, then how did you and I become separate? How did we become two? So soul
I mean,
cannot
we
be
have
cut to
the
pieces.
same idea.
What's
Okay.
that?
I mean, we kind of have like the same ideology. Once you're born into like, I don't know if you can say specific religion, but once you're born into like a specific group, you kind of have the same ideology mixed into it. But then once you're separated, you still have that part with you. So even though your spirit, like, even though you're like kind of separate right now, that part of yourself is with someone else. So spiritually, I'd still say we're the same. It's just that physically, not exactly.
Yeah. So basically the souls are separate, right?
Yeah.
They are eternal, co-eternal with God. So God created us, and from that point on, we are co-eternal with God. We never die, He never dies.
Yeah.
Okay. So therefore, the Mayavadi theory is wrong because they are saying that we are all one, and after liberation, we all become one. Even after liberation, we don't become one. We'll maintain our distinct identity. But the only difference is once we go to the spiritual world, we are one in thinking with the Lord. So we only do things that the Lord wants us to do and not our own stuff. You get the idea?
Yeah.
So we support the Lord in his activities. So we are essentially supporters or servants of the Lord. But when the people hear the term servant, they say, oh, no, 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 I don't want to be a servant. I want to be the master. I want to be like God. So that is what causes all these problems. When people want to be God, that is why you have people fighting with each other like that. Okay.
Okay.
Now, Gunit, so any thoughts from your side? What is your understanding?
The soul can't be killed by any weapon.
Okay, that's good.
The soul cannot, the soul cannot be killed by any weapon, whether it is made of earth, water, air, or anything else.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And what about the Mayavadi theory that everybody is one? What is your thought on that? Are you and I one?
I don't. No, I don't think so because we're individual.
Yeah, we are individual. That's the answer. There you go. That is correct. Okay, let's do the next verse. Achedyoyam
Achetyoyam,
adhayoyam
Adhayoya
akledyo
Akledyo
shoshya eva cha
Shoshya Evacha
nityaha
Nityaha
sarvagatah sthanur
Sarvagatah Sthano
achaloyam
Achalo
Achaloyam,
sanatanaha
Tanaha.
The individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can neither be burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Right? Again, some more information. Previously, they said you cannot burn it, you cannot dry it. And now you're saying you cannot break it. Right? You cannot take just like a little cookie that you buy in the store and then you break it into half and then two brothers share that. No, you cannot. Insoluble means you cannot melt it. So normally if you take some clay and put it in a glass of water, the clay will basically soluble in the water and the water turns grayish, right? You have seen this when it rains. But that is called soluble or solution. The soul cannot be soluble, cannot be burned nor dried. Like sometimes people in the burning buildings, they die. But the soul cannot be burned. The soul will go into the next body. And you cannot dry the soul either. And then he's everlasting, means he's there everywhere. He's the everlasting means always there, right? From the beginning of time till end of time. And present everywhere means, this is a little difficult to understand. Present everywhere means soul is not tied to the body. It can go from body to body. And unchangeable means you cannot change the soul. Suddenly, you cannot make the soul big or small or thin or fat. Soul has its dimension and it will remain the same. Immovable means soul cannot be moved. Soul moves now because it is sitting in a body and the body is moving. Right? And eternally the same. Means eternally means from beginning of time till end of time. Okay? So, Gunit, please read this.
All these qualifications of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is internally the atomic particle of the spirit whole, and he remains the same atom internally without change. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case because the individual soul is never expected to be one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the intelligent souls enter the spiritual planes to associate with the personality of Godhead. The word Sarvagata, all pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that all living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word Sarvagata, living and everywhere, becomes meaningless.
Very good. So what is your understanding, Gunit?
All of God's creations can live in land, water, air, or even in fire, because then if they don't, then like the word Sarvagata also means as living everywhere becomes like meaningless.
Very good. Very good. So, like people take the Clorox wipes and wipe their countertops so that people say bacteria is killed. Is bacteria killed?
Yes.
The body of the bacteria is killed. What happens to the soul?
It just moves on to the next body.
Yeah, there you go. So basically, it's not like you are able to kill anybody. Nobody can kill anybody. So sterilized in fire means like normally when you travel to India, you boil the water and drink so that the water should not contain any bacteria, for example. So when you put this water in a vessel and put it on the stove and boil it for half an hour, they say all the bacteria is killed. So bacteria is not killed. The bacteria's bodies are killed and the soul goes into the next body. Right? That is what Sarvagata means. It's there everywhere. If you try to sterilize water by boiling it in one place, then it goes to the second place like that. Okay, let's do one more verse. Avyaktoyam
Avaktoyam
achintyoyam
Achintyoyam
avikaryoyam
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 uchyate
Uchyate
tasmad
Tasmad
evam
Evam
viditvainam
Viditvainam
nanusochitum
Nanusochitum
arhasi
Arhasi
avyaktoyam achinchoyam
Avyaktoyam Achinchoyam
avikaryoyam uchyate
Avikaroyam Yam Uchyate
tasmadevam viditvainam
Tasmatevam Viditvainam
nanusochitum arhasi
Nanyasochitam Arhasi
avyaktoyam achintyoyam
Avyaktoyam Achintyoyam
avikaryoyam uchyate
Avikaryam Yamuchoyate
tasmadevam viditvainam
Tasmadevam Viditvainam
nanusochitum arhasi.
Nanyasochitam Arhasi. Uncle, I'll have to leave the class now because I have to attend another class.
Okay, so you'll have to leave now in 5 minutes.
No, I have to leave like right now because my another
Right.
class
Okay.
starts at
Okay, that's fine. Then we will stop for today and then we'll reconvene next week.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Gunit, for coming. And thank you, Sai, for coming. We'll
Okay.
meet next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.